When the school announced my death over the intercom, I asked if I still had to take my math test. Our principal announced over the intercom, "Students, please remember that we are having a memorial assembly after lunch to celebrate sophomore Daniel Hale, who passed away last night. Counselors will be available all day." The entire class was staring. "Daniel, why don't you step into the hall?" my teacher suggested as the class turned to chaos. The hallway was a chaotic mess. The student council were gathered making memorial posters for the assembly. Kids were crying, or some were discussing how I died. Some were saying how great a person I was. Others were asking teachers if the assembly meant they could get out of homework if they said they were grieving. Teachers were whispering to each other. I saw my girlfriend bawling and ugly crying, which was crazy since I had literally texted her right before class to confirm our plans after school. I had the proof on my phone. We were going to see a movie. A pair of counselors were walking through with clipboards taking names of students who wanted to have meetings. It felt weird, like I was watching my own funeral. I was standing right there, clearly alive, but I was invisible. "Eliza, I started to say as I was walking up to my girlfriend, but then Principal Hart saw me and pulled me aside. "Daniel, walk with me," he said in that tone that didn't give me an option, interrupting me before I could try to stop the madness. We walked to his office. Once we got there, he told me to sit and close the door. He locked it. "Mr. Hale, we have an issue." He started pulling up something on his computer. Principal Hart turned the screen around. There on the screen was an official email from the district that read, "Student deceased, Daniel Hale, age 15, cause of death under investigation, and a digital copy of a death certificate. Are you feeling okay?" Principal Hart asked me. I nodded, confused. "I'm alive. I was taking my math test," I said. Principal Hart nodded. "I know. That's what makes this complicated," he said. He wouldn't let me go back to class. Once a student is marked as dead, the system locks them out completely. I couldn't get into my school laptop. My attendance and school records were automatically locked. My student ID wouldn't work to scan me into places like the gym. Then the text messages from friends started. "Dude, awesome prank. You've got the school convinced," my best friend Kyle wrote. Then from my girlfriend, "This isn't funny." And from my cousin, "Mom said you died in a hit and run." I didn't know how to prove anything. By lunch I was trying to call my mother, but it went straight to voicemail. I must have left at least 20 voice messages. I ate my lunch in the office, thankful I had brought my lunch today. If I hadn't, my ID wouldn't have scanned and I wouldn't have been able to buy lunch. As I ate, my vice principal and principal were trying to get to the bottom of this. Then the vice principal found it. "The death report came from your father. He filed it at 5:45 a.m. Said you never came home last night." My stomach dropped. "My dad doesn't live with us. He hasn't for years," I said. I looked at my phone. I was staying with my best friend Kyle. I had texted Mom, but when I looked for the text message, it was gone. Mom came to pick me up early. "The school kept calling. I thought it was a prank," she said, shaking and pale. I looked at her. "I think Dad did this on purpose," I said. "Because of the death certificate and me still obviously being alive, the police showed up at home asking me questions about where I was and what I was wearing last night. They were confused and were trying to figure it out. One officer showed me security footage of a figure in my hoodie near the old railroad track being hit by a car. "Daniel, obviously you're here, but we're trying to figure out what's going on." We found no one there, but there was clearly a hit and run due to parts of the car on the ground. One officer said to me, "But then Kyle's mom showed up at my house. I have a camera on my door. Daniel was with my son all night." Kyle's mom said as she showed the officers her footage from the camera, "The video showed me and Kyle clearly heading out for the bus at 6:30 a.m. I was heard complaining on the audio about the math test. Then Kyle and I discussing the latest update in a video game. Before I could say anything, the officers got a call. It was from the lead detective on the case and he'd figured everything out. The figure of the man wearing my clothes was my dad. He was behind it all. You see, he tried to stage my death so he'd stop having to pay child support, pay court fees, and stop the custody battles. By Friday, the school had sent out a correction email and I was officially back in classes. My dad was arrested, and when they cuffed him, he confessed he'd done this once before with my older half-sister when she had skipped school. But because I actually showed up to school that day and everyone was there to see that I was alive and not dead, it messed up my dad's plan.